poetry is a weapon and also a tool. I'm so sorry for the break in transmission, ma. All right, ma, can we move on?
Okay, so go ahead. I think you asked questions about
Okay.
poetry when I saw it as a person, so I told you about it. What?
Yeah, yeah, you told me. So then you said that poetry is a weapon and also a tool. Okay, so my next question is, would poetry in Canada be indigenous, immigrant, or a blend of both? Would poetry in Canada be indigenous, immigrant, or a blend of both?
Would put an immigrant or an indigenous person? Okay, so that's also a question that makes me think. So again, I would say that poetry belongs to. It is not the property of anyone, and it belongs to everyone, and anybody can use it to express, to have a voice. And for me, here in Canada, especially, we do have indigenous people who have been suffering in some way or the other, and they have spent so many years on their own lands trying to have some rights. They have been fighting for it. So I've read their poems, I've read their stories, because in every poem, we do have a story, in fact. So I've read that. So I believe that these people, they are uh, they are allowed to use poetry, and poetry can be an indigenous person. Why not? It has to be an indigenous person because it is here to give voice to the voiceless. And poetry is also immigrant because Canada is a land of immigrants. We have so many cultures, so many people with many backgrounds. So this is the beauty of it. You can be here and you're tasting foods from all over the world. And poetry is also is like it's like a food. You know, you're tasting so many cultures through poetry, and you're learning about so many countries, so many backgrounds, about so many issues. So for me, poetry it belongs as much uh, as to the immigrants, and it belongs to the immigrants also. It belongs to the indigenous people also because it allows them to talk about their suffering, um, and that.
Yeah, poetry allows us to speak our mind. Poetry, um, for those, especially for those who are introverts, who are not opportune, or who are having stage fright, or are having problem with speaking in the public, poetry can be a tool for them to speak their mind and their thoughts and views. All right. So my next question, and that will be the second to last question. Do you see poetry as healing or confronting Canada's colonial past? First of all, can you tell me about Canada's colonial past? Then, do you see poetry as healing or confronting Canada's colonial past?
You know, basically, you're talking about Canada's colonial past. You are highlighting the indigenous people again, according to me. So we don't really mention the word colonization here. We talk about peaceful settlers. This is what I've learned from the university. So actually, these people they came here as peaceful settlers, but we do know that somewhere it's colonization because the indigenous people have suffered in residential schools. They have been marginalized. They have not been given the right to live on, let's say, on their own lands. Okay, so now with time, of course, they are being accepted as indigenous people, and they have been given the right to practice their culture. They are no more considered as savages, because they are close to nature and all. So at time they were considered to be like a bit of a savage between inverted commas, because they were not like so close to, let's say, nurture. They were closer to nature. So these concepts nowadays, it's not the same anymore, because my own kids, I remember they were learning about the indigenous culture, and they are given the chance to go and taste their food, and there are so many things that are being organized to integrate the indigenous people in Canada's larger system, and to pacify their anger in some way. And there were so many meetings, and also poetry. For me, then it's not about opposing, it's more about acceptance. Now it's more about communication. And for the indigenous people, they write a lot about their suffering, but they use lots of magic realism. And magic realism, it's mainly to heal. It's not like to stay in the wound, but that was present in the past. It's all it's always like to build something better. Yeah, the wound is there, the crack is there, the destruction, the ruin is there, but they know how to get out of it. And this is what writing and poetry does for them. I've never seen like revenge, I've never seen anything bad. I've seen resilience, I've seen resurgence. We talk a lot about resurgence, because if you stay in the past, you keep fighting, and the world, it has become a global village. There is nothing like pure culture. You can't stick to like your culture. There is nothing like your own thing now. Everything is like hybrid, and this is what makes the world a beautiful place, especially Canada. It's like you see, it's really a global village here, because everywhere you will meet immigrants, and you can be meeting indigenous people. So they all have to live together, and they have to accept each other. So that's it. Poetry is here for resurgence, resilience, and it's to open ways to communication, and to look forward to the future, not to get back to the past and have that hatred or whatever it is in the heart. So it is here to heal. I think I don't hear you, Emmanuel.
Okay,
Can you?
okay. Thank you so much. As you can see, more persons are joining. We can see Comfort Campbell from Nigeria, Deborah Akitola from Nigeria, um, Unsil Bonk Promise from Nigeria. You are all welcome to the Spotlight Show tonight, Nigerian time, actually. Um, we'll move to the second to the last question because of your busy schedule for now. The second to the last question is how has living in Canada shaped your understanding of poetry's voice and identity? How has living in Canada shaped your understanding of your poetic voice and identity?
So, like I told you, nothing is pure. Identity also is not pure, because, like I told you, I was born in India, and then my parents moved to Mauritius, and then I moved to Canada. So, here what happens to my identity, and especially if I talk to poetry, it's like I don't have a fixed identity. it keeps changing, it keeps transforming. And especially here in Quebec, I've learned lots of things. I've gone to the university, I've heard others. Even my perspective on literature has changed because I was basically a romantic, studying mostly Keats, Wordsworth, and like the imaginary world of literature back in Mauritius, where I grew up. And then I had the chance to read Indian literature also. So all these things, when I read them, it makes me acquire different identities, because at times I feel like Mauritian and then I feel Indian. And then here I came to Canada studying memories, studying real life. Here they believe more in real life, and they believe like in stories of the indigenous people. So here it's like I study literature facing more the harsh realities of life, or not really harsh at times, but the realities of life through memoirs. And also he told me that okay, poetry, it gives you wings, it gives your identity wings. You feel like okay, I need to be in the to live in imagination, but I also need to put my feet down to earth, because identity is not fixed in itself, and it will keep changing. And what is identity after all? It You acquire identity from your environment. I believe in that. Okay, you can't remain whatever you are, because you're already in touch with others. You're in touch with your environment. You're in touch with people. You are in touch with literature. And believe me, here most of the literature that I studies was about foreign writers. And even now I'm with so many people from Arab countries. And also I'm wondering where the Canadian literature in Canada. So I've studied a bit of some Canadian writers for sure, but everything is hybrid, everything is interconnected, and identity is hybrid. There is nothing we have. And if we talk about the postmodern world, we talk about identities. We never have an identity. We have several identities. So I believe, and even when I write poetry, I'm inspired by Rumi. So Rumi, who is he? Was from Turkey, but yet I read him, and when I write, it's like you will see Rumi in my poems.
Hmm.
And if I am reading Wordsworth, you'll see Wordsworth somewhere in my poems.
Beautiful.
If I read, so it's like that's my identity. And it's difficult to say that I have a fixed identity, actually.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. We'll go to the last question before we ask one person to also ask you um few questions, just one from the
Okay,
audience.
go ahead.
Okay, the last question. And finally, if poetry sat beside you right now, what would you ask it? If poetry sat beside you right now, or if poetry is sitting beside you now, like poetry is now by your side, what would you ask it?
I love poetry to give me the power to change the world, to bring peace, to
Wonderful.
bring collaboration. And of course, I love poetry to give me a voice that people would like. So I love poetry that actually what poetry is giving me. And I've told you that I was not expecting that, because when you write in your room, at how in your home, when you're sitting at the table, you're writing in, you are there with your paper and pen, and suddenly when you put that on social media, or you get your book published, there are so many others reading it,
Yeah,
and then you realize that you got a voice now. So
yeah.
that's
Well,
about poetry actually.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sha. Um, let's call on one of our audience. Deborah, are you there? Hello, Deborah. Hello, Deborah. Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Do you have a question for our guest tonight or today?
Okay, I think if I had a question, to be, uh, what actually inspired you to start writing poems here? I mean, or um, what makes you start writing poems? What inspires you? What inspires every title there, every poem you put out there? Yeah, what inspiration?
Okay, good question. Actually, I think every poet has only one guide, not necessarily, but for me it was suffering. So, so when you have to face challenges in life, I suppose, uh, actually, and you know that you have to be on your own. So this is what makes you write a lot, because, like I said earlier, it's a sort of therapy. So for me, poetry is therapy, and I write a lot to have therapy. And then I started writing for my society, because when I used to find that therapy in poems, I felt that okay, now it's not only about me. I have to look into the suffering of others also, especially the wars that are happening all around the world. Whatever is happening in my society, whatever is not happening to me, I can write about it, and this inspires me. So I tell myself, okay, go for it, write about it, and be yourself. When I write, it doesn't mean that others they that resonates with them, but at least I write, and it's my perspective. And poetry is always subjective. So this is my belief, and that's it. A bit.
Well, beautiful, beautiful. That is good. Thank you. Deborah, thank you for that wonderful question. Comfort, comfort, are you there? Our last, um, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have a question for our guest?
Okay. Yes, I do.
All right.
Good day, Ma. Thank you so much for your time. If I should ask a question, that question would be, centuries from now, like when history forgets our faces but remember words, what do you want a poet to say about this generation? Like, what do you want poetry to say about the generation?
Well, if you're talking about this generation, I never lose hope. I always heard one thing from people, that this generation is doomed, and people are no more like people in the past or whatever. But I still see hope everywhere, and poetry will always meet, people who are worthy. We will always people that will want to write good poems. And even like I said earlier, poetry doesn't belong to only good people. It can belong to a person who wants to voice out his opinion. He can be a rebel, can be someone who suffered at the hands of someone or something. So I have hope for poetry. I have hope for, because this generation is very intelligent. It's just that it doesn't want to use its intelligence, and it has other priorities. But I'm sure these people, they decide to write, and really they are writing, because I've been working with there is Dawson, and there I've seen them and doing really good work, and for making them write when they write, and there are so many good things, but it's just them because they are not published, and probably they are not on social media. So I have hope, and I know that we have good poets, and this generation is not doomed for me. It's about people who have wonderful ideas, and I'm sure we will see that in the near future. I have hope because I believe in the youngsters. I believe in life, and I believe in the future, like I believe in the present and in the past.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma. I have okay. We're going to close with this poem, and if anyone also have a poem on poetry, you can also read yours just briefly. If poetry was a person, if poetry was a person, had pay a bright price without respite, had frown when she, had smile when she frowns, go a long mile, had hide in her arms, oh, soothing arms. If poetry was a person, I'd fight it. I'd fight tooth and nail without reason. I'd write a new book, turn it into a nook. I'd fly on her wings, make her sing. I'd play the piano to a great tempo. If poetry was a person, I'd preach it, loud it, embrace it to the moon. I'd turn a statue into a Plato. I'd praise her, succor her, till I become like her. Oh love, I'd go to the altar, never to be altered. I wrote this poem during the last year's International Poetry Day, and I really love poetry, so I wrote this. Yeah,
It's a wonderful poem, and I always appreciate your poems, Emmanuel, and you know that.
yeah. Thank you,
And when I say that I have hope, when I say that I have hope, I can bet on you because you're young.
thank you so
You're
much.
writing so well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I can see you are. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello.
Okay, so do you have questions?
Okay. Do you have questions?
I think Deborah Anki Lawton, she has a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so I wanted to actually ask you to please tell us a bit about yourself, like a little bit about yourself, because you're in the spotlight now. It's actually all about you. So can you please tell us a bit about yourself? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys were not here. We started a bit earlier because we had a clash in the time zone and all. So basically, I was born in India. I grew up in Mauritius, in the Indian Ocean, and it's very close to Africa. And then I migrated to Canada. I worked as a teacher for almost 10 to 15 years. And I studied literature and creative writing at the University of Montreal, at the University of Mauritius. And actually, now I've changed my job, but I'm very passionate about writing poems. And I've written some books also, and I'm on social media mostly.
Yeah.
But I've got some books that have been published on Amazon, and I'm fond of creative writing. So that's me. I'm Jihan Begum Ashrafi.
Yeah. 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 I've seen some of your works, and I can say you are really an amazing personality, Ma. I can say you are really doing well both online and yeah, you are really doing well, Ma. Thank you so much once again for honoring our invitation, and we will keep honoring and we will keep um, for honoring our invitation. We respect you a lot. You are amazing. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
ma.
very much.
Thank you.
So
Um,
thank you very much for inviting. And Actually, I'm really sorry. It's time for me to leave.
Okay, thank you.
But
Okay.
thank you very much. Have a good day, and thank you for coming, all of you. Bye.